Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of PixlFeed Radio. I'm here with my friend Jay Gibb today. Jay, how you doing today?
Doing well. How you doing, Christian?
Doing all right with as usual, because this show can never go without technical difficulties here and there. We've been messing around for the past 10 minutes, but good thing you're a developer, so we were able to figure it out quickly.
We got it. We
did. For those of you that don't know Jay, he's a former software engineer and the founder and CEO of a SaaS company called CloudSponge. And basically what CloudSponge does, together with his team, they have helped thousands of e-commerce businesses optimize their word-of-mouth sales since 2010. They have a unique blend of tech expertise and soft skills. And Jay is basically an expert on helping e-commerce stores build the right features to reduce customer acquisition costs and increase sales, which everybody who owns e-commerce stores, like I do, wants to hear all day long. So before we get into it and start talking about CloudSponge and all that good stuff, you have obviously you're a developer first. So why don't you take me a little bit through your background? Were you always an entrepreneur since you were a kid, or did you start in the developing side of things and then work your way to it? You decided to go on your own at some point?
No, I can't say that I was entrepreneurial sort of from the beginning. I definitely have always been like a worker. Like I've always had a job ever since I was really small.
Right.
But I can't, like, paper routes and cutting grass and kind of doing what I could to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you call that being entrepreneurial. I don't know, but yeah, I've definitely been, figuring out how to make a few bucks here and there ever since I was a little kid. But then as far as like entrepreneurial activity, the way you're thinking about it,
Mm-hmm.
that's probably something that where I actually took a risk and decided to get away from a job and do some things on my own, partway maybe 8 or 10 years after I got out of school, right? So it was not like an immediate instinct for me.
So you weren't like one of those kids, like, starting businesses like all the time, and then through college and all that, you went, the conventional way of going to school, learning your craft, and then getting a job after school, I'm assuming, after you graduated college, and then, got experience in the field and then decided to go on your own, correct?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, I kind of got to a place in my career path where I could see the ceiling. like, oh, that's not cool. I got to do something that doesn't have a ceiling, or is a little bit has a little bit more headroom. And so then I started to make that transition to startups and do my own thing.
Was that a difficult transition to do at the time?
No, I didn't do it like cut and dried. I kind of did like a overlap nights and weekends, kind of a slow, careful approach. So no, it wasn't difficult. It was a lot of work, right? It was
Right.
work, but it wasn't like I, racked up a bunch of debt and credit card bills and it kind of went without any income for a while. I always made sure that I had.
That's my story.
A pretty reliable source of income and just lots and lots and lots of little baby steps for a lot of years, right?
So you did it the smart way. I did it the dumb way. The dumb way was like, you know what? I'm just going to figure this out. I don't care if I'm broke or I live on the street. I'll figure it out at some point. And then I went head in first. But I was always that type of kid, starting things left and right. I could not hold a job. I would get fired from every job because I didn't like people tell me what to do, which is weird because now customers tell me what to do. But somehow that's okay because they're paying me money, I guess. But, it's like you said, there's no ceiling. I can take it as far as I want. It's a different relationship too with customers. You want to take care of your customers, your clients, your users, and all that stuff. So it's a different relationship. It's just my issue growing up was, when I got all these jobs, it was like I always felt like I was smarter than my bosses,
Yeah.
And that's just me being cocky in a way because, you think you know it all when you're a kid, when you're young, and then you start to realize, oh, maybe he was right about this, or maybe they were right about this, but a lot of it, I was right from the beginning. So, that's what kept me going. So how did that?
I think part of the difference is you can fire your customers, right? It's kind of hard to fire your boss, right? But
yeah, that's true.
If you get a customer that's not right for you or you're not right for them, you can just say no, reserve the right to refuse service to anyone. And so you still get that ability to control what you need to control and live the life you want to live.
Not always though.
Maybe
Once you're
different.
established, you do have that luxury, and you really vet who you work with or who you don't work with. But when you're starting out and you did it like what I call the dumb way, it's like, I got to figure this out. You got to take whoever you can at first. And yes, some of those are nightmares, and you just have to deal with it. And you just got to try your best and deal with the headaches. But if you keep going, if you keep crafting, working on your craft, eventually you're gonna build a book of referrals and all that good stuff. And once you get to that point, then yeah, absolutely, man. I can be like, you know what, this is not a good fit. Let's go our separate ways and be done with it. And there's someone else you can bring on. So how did the idea for CloudSponge come around?
It's a story that starts off with scratching our own itch and building something that didn't exist that we needed. And then in this case, that was what we call the contact picker. So just to paint a mental image so you know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
It's that interface on a website that has all your contacts in it. So you authenticate with Google or Yahoo or whatever.
Yep.
It loads up all your contacts from your address book and allows you to select whoever you want for whatever you're doing, right?
Right.
And so we built that because it was sort of a feature that was required for something else we were doing. And it was hard to do. It was hard to build. There wasn't any good solutions out there. We tried all the sort of software packages that were available. None of them were good enough, right? So we built it ourselves. And it was cool because as we were exploring the options, we discovered all kinds of other people like us that were also exploring the options. People were asking questions. Oh, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. How do I get it to do this? They're hitting all the same problems with the incumbent solutions that we were hitting. And so we kind of knew, like, if we actually build a good contact picker, there's like a bunch of people that would probably buy it. Right? Most likely there's all these guys that are all frustrated with the same thing we're frustrated with. Like maybe they would all buy it, right? So we did a little customer development and validated that. And then basically, rather than building the thing that the contact picker was going to be a feature of, we decided just to sell the contact picker, right? And successfully, we did well. We launched, that was like 10 years ago, right? This is 2010.
Right. So how many people are in the team at this point? Obviously did you have somebody else with you at the start, or how did it go?
Yeah, there's always been at least two of us. Right now, there's like 4 like core full-time people, and like a whole bunch of freelancers and outsiders and people that are sort of experts at their craft. And I don't really have any interest in trying to build an internal expertise at. So we outsourced to, probably a couple dozen people for different things, right?
That's the way to do it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like it a lot that way. At first it seems more expensive, but then like you learn quickly that it's actually not, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that was back then. It was just 2 of us. It was me and Graham, who's still the CTO. It's still the 2 of us kind of leading the charge right now. And then once we had the contact picker and a bunch of people buying it, it was really neat because we got to see like all the different use cases that exist for why somebody might want a contact picker. Because it's a tool, right? There's no prescription of why you're using it. We're not telling you what it's for exactly. We're just solving like a pretty atomic problem within some other bigger thing that our customers are building, right? So we got to see people using it in like they're building social networks, or they're building a CRM, or they're building an e-commerce site like a referral system, or they're building e-cards and event invitations and all the different places you can imagine where you might want your users to be able to manipulate or to give their contacts to the website for some reason, creating some recipient list for some reason, right? And so we watched that for a long time, and supported our customers through that, and kind of became experts in those different use cases, right? Because we had enough people where I could start to go and look and say, hey, like we got a couple thousand e-commerce companies using our contact picker. Let's go take a look at some slice of them and see what they're all doing with it, right? And we see, there's some people are using it for their referral programs to make it easier to input email addresses into a recipient list for a referral program. Some of them are using it for coupons so that they can recipient list to send coupons to to your friends, right? Or
Right.
wish lists, where you've made a wish list or a gift registry or something like that, and you want to share it with all the people that are coming to your event or whatever it is that the e-commerce site's doing, right? And so we sort of saw that pattern, and we saw that this contact picker was really useful for e-commerce companies, in particular the direct-to-consumer ones that have their own like WooCommerce site or Shopify site or whatever. And now we're starting to really like focus on that particular use case and take all those best practices that we've learned over the years and like build another layer of software on top of the contact picker, so that those guys that have those sites can start to get all the benefit of this research that we've done, right? And actually start to create something that expands the target or expands the sort of circumference of our product to solve some really specific problems for e-commerce businesses.
It's so funny that you bring that up about the patterns. And once you started seeing what people were using it for, I just literally shot a video for the YouTube channel explaining how, marketing audience segments, it's like once, like, for example, when we get a new client and it's a very generic product, we'll go for the customer avatar, the generic customer avatar after we do some audience research. And once we start running those ads and start looking back at the data that we're getting back, we start to see all this like audience segments emerge for what they're using this generic product for. And then it's like, oh, this person's using it, for their pets. This person's using it, to protect their business. This person's, it's this huge segment. It's all military people. And it's like, then we start creating marketing campaigns speaking directly to those segments of the audience, and the results go through the roof. So you guys essentially did the same thing. It's like you start seeing the patterns. Like, wait a minute, we created this app or plugin, and we thought it was just going to be mostly for this, and all of a sudden we saw like a pattern emerge, and you did the right thing to do, like double down, niche down on it, and keep build from there, since you were seeing that's what most people were using it for.
Yeah, I think for me, it just comes naturally. And I think anybody that has something that you would just call a tool probably has a similar opportunity. Either they've explored it or they haven't. But, it's like a wrench, right? A wrench can be used to fix a toaster or a tractor, or, who knows? There's a million things you can fix with a wrench. And if you can get an idea for like what people are using the wrench for, you can make a better wrench for that, right? And
yeah,
you can
absolutely.
start to go in that direction, or maybe you can make like 6 different wrenches for 6 different things. If you're stable and mature enough. And so I think it's probably pretty natural. I don't feel like this is a really like special path, but in our case, like we saw these things and we did our own, addressable market analysis and tried to figure out like what's the entrepreneurial path here, like which of these different use cases should we pursue, and where can we deliver the most value, right? And it just seemed like direct-to-consumer e-commerce was sort of overshadowed the other possibilities for us, at least for now.
Yeah. So obviously a referral program for a brand can be a really, really big deal. So most people think it's like, okay, I'm just going to build an affiliate link and give it to people and expect, hope for the best. So in your experience from what you see on the back end, how do you make sure you have the best referral program where you can take the most advantage, using a tool like yours?
Yeah, I think, there's a few things that are common, out of all the ones that we've seen. Obviously the contact picker is something, but that's sort of a secondary thing. When you got to it's more of an optimization step after you've got a functioning machine, right? And in the e-commerce space, the first one that I think is sort of universally true is the double-sided referral program, right?
Double-sided referral program. I haven't heard that one.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah. Well, you've seen them for sure. You maybe just haven't heard the term, but it's basically where both parties, the referrer, the advocate, the promoter, gets something in return for bringing a paying customer. But the new paying customer, the referred party, also gets something, right? So it's both. Gotcha. That's the double-sided. Both parties get some kind of motivation here, right? So
let me make sure let me make sure I get this straight. So we're talking in terms of like, okay, I have the affiliate program and I'm giving you, I don't know, 20% of all sales that you bring through your affiliate link. Then the other person that you're bring on, I can give them an extra discount. So it's like a ladder type of deal. Is that what you mean by it?
Yeah, but I wouldn't use the word affiliate because that's got its own meaning, right? We're talking about something. Affiliates are a little different than referrals, right? But the rest of what you said, yeah, totally right. Where you've got, if you just imagine a store, a normal B2C brand, right? Like somebody using WooCommerce or Shopify, and as somebody that loves this brand, I love these gym shorts, and I think I got some friends that work out a lot. I want to be able to send them a referral to buy these gym shorts, for example, right?
Right.
And everybody that does, one side of the referral program is if my friend buys some gym shorts, I'm going to get $10 off the next pair that I buy. Right? Gotcha. I'm going to get some kind of reward for referring them. But I want to send them something. I don't want to just send them a link. I want to send them a coupon, or I want to send them an offer that actually makes them buy the gym shorts and actually makes them pursue what I've sent them rather than just going through the front door ordinarily, right? And that's the second side where you can say, look, you're going to get $10 off your first purchase. And when you make that first purchase, I'm going to get $10 off my next purchase, right? And so I think that double-sided nature is pretty important. I think, having one or the other generally, from what I've seen, results in less impact. But they don't necessarily need to be monetary. And that's kind of the second thing that I would suggest anybody who wants to do this looks at is, sometimes it can just be a gift. It can be some swag that gets added to your order, or it can be, we've got one relatively large client called Stitch Fix. They're kind of like a subscription box for clothes where they do.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, they fit you. They figure out, your waist size and your arm length and all that stuff, and then they send you boxes, and you take what you want or buy what you want and send back what you don't.
Right.
Well, the first step in becoming a Stitch Fix customer is to pay them $20 to get your fix. In other words, your fitting, right? And so in their case, the one side of the reward program is a free fix, right? So it's not really monetary. They're not actually taking money out of their margin. They're just offering this service that's basically just a form on a website. You fill it out and you take a few pictures if they ask you to.
That's smart.
And so they're giving you this. It's like the perception of a $20 bonus, but really it's not, right? If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think like, figuring out what those rewards should be is an ongoing split test kind of problem that I think people work on. The people who do really well is they'll figure out, is it $10? Is it $12? Is it $9? Which side of it? Is it a coupon for the next purchase? Is it, a free scarf or something like that? And I think those rewards are always different. It really depends on the clientele and the type of product and all that kind of stuff, right?
What do you think? Obviously we know data is important, but what do you think makes or breaks a referral program? Because sometimes I see some where you offer a discount and all that stuff, and then I see some other successful ones, but they're not even offering a discount. So since you see all this data every day, what do you think makes or breaks a referral program?
I think the one of the things that seems to be an obvious differentiator between the winners and losers in my mind, well, I shouldn't say losers, but the ones that are obviously outsized successes and the long tail, right, is the presence of the referral program existence being everywhere on a site, right? I think the ones that I see that aren't working as well, they're just kind of burying the mention of the referral program in maybe one of the onboarding emails that you get, or it's in the footer of the website, or maybe it was on a thank you page somewhere where they said, hey, by the way, refer your friends and send them a $10 coupon. And they've got everything else right. But then if they were just to take those things and put them in more places, put them on the public website, put it in the main navigation, make it a part of every email you send out, put it into the receipt email, and if they just mention the referral program, everywhere, as many places as they can, like put it in there, including like their social media presence and anything else they've got going on. And they really make that a sort of a required part of being a customer, is that every customer is aware that this is the thing that they have, and making sure that it gets the right kind of placement in as many places as possible. That seems to be the make or break. It seems to be the thing that anytime we get somebody who's like, yeah, we're not getting a ton of value out of this CloudSponge contact picker, we're thinking about canceling, then one of me or our customer success people will go and look at their site and say, well, of course not. Like, here's a bunch of places where you should put the link. Like, and we make a bunch of suggestions for where it should go. And we're not really like referral program consultants, although we behave that way in order to save the business and make sure we don't lose a customer for the wrong reasons, right?
Sure.
And really, like, it's not that in that case, it's not that our product is not doing its job. It's that they're not driving enough people to that page of their website where our product is installed, right? So in order for us to really sort of earn the customer success term for that role, we want them to be successful, period, regardless of us. We want them to be successful in whatever their goal is. And obviously their goal is more sales. Obviously their goal is to make this referral program that they've invested in do better. And so the suggestion there is sort of outside of the CloudSponge contact picker like area, and it's all around. And then when we get them to do that and they're like, okay, cool, like let's try that, pretty much all the time they're like happy that they did, and things start going in the right direction.
What do you suggest that everyone puts the sharing features on the e-com site? Because I'm not a big fan of loading up the product page with too many things that will distract you from adding to cart and just pulling the trigger. So I'm curious to see, where what do you think? Where on the website it performs best?
Yeah, the product page it's an important one, but you're right. It needs to be subtle. It needs to be just for somebody who's looking for it. You don't want it to be like, this is the most important part of obviously right. That page like that. You don't want to interrupt somebody from buying something from you, right? So
sure,
it should probably be there so that if this person is seeing a product that somebody in their life would like, they have a way to send it, right? But I agree. I wouldn't make it bold and obvious. I think the places where it goes, I listed a couple of them a minute ago, right? So the emails, the receipt emails, the post-purchase process, right? It's like after you're, because again,
the thank you page, I'm assuming the thank you page.
Yeah, the thank you page. You don't want to distract somebody. You don't want to create cart abandonment by interrupting somebody with like a request to make a referral when they're in the middle of buying something from you, right?
Right.
You got to be like, block off that area and don't mess with it, right?
Yeah.
But then at the thank you page, now the person's got what they want, and depending on what kind of product it is, like it's very possible that they know somebody else in their life that would love that same product, like the gym shorts example, right? Or and on Amazon or something, if you're selling a book, it's very likely that if I'm going to enjoy this book, probably somebody else in my life would also enjoy the same.
Do they have that on Amazon? I'm trying to think of because I've studied their pages all the time, but I don't think I've seen a suggestion.
They definitely used to. I used to do that with one of my colleagues all the time. If I bought a book, or if I was going to buy a book, I would ask him, hey, do you also want this book? And if he said yes, which he always did because we had the same taste,
right?
Then I would say, okay, cool, I'm going to buy it. And I knew on the Amazon thank you page, there was going to be a place where I could put in his email address and send him a 10% off coupon for that specific book.
I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to go through it again, see if they still have that, because I do the one-click thing all the time now. So it's I
don't think they do. Last time I looked, they didn't have it. I remember at some point being sad that they removed it.
Yeah.
And I maybe it was just a split test, and they or whatever. Like obviously they've got all the data in the world to make smart decisions.
That's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, listen, dude, you want to make your product page work? Go to Amazon. Just look at it. Just look at it, like with the way they have the stars, add the list, add it to the list, or buy now. It's very subtle. It's like I break it down all the time for people. I'm like, this is the way to go. And if you go to the big sites like Best Buy, GameStop, the big e-commerce sites, you can see like they all follow almost the same formula. There's they do it that way because it works, right? So
Yep.
But I know another important part about, to make it work, it's personalizing the message too. So are you guys, how do you make it work with email? Do you guys see a lot of referrals through the email platforms from the e-com brands, or do they stick mostly to the site itself?
Well, with regard to personalization, I think the thing that most people do, the thing that you and probably anybody listening to this conversation have seen, is a referral email from a friend that just looks like it came from the brand, from the company that I've never heard of, right? Right, and it's like, hey there, I think you're gonna love this product. Click here to get a 10% discount, right?
Right.
And like this email, it's like Christian sent this email on the brand's website to me. I'm his friend. He has my email address. He typed my email address into the form field, right? And the email that I receive has no mention of Christian at all. It's just from this brand that I've never heard of, and I'm probably going to go into the recycle bin or into the spam folder. Right? And so what we try to train our customers to do is to use that address book to personalize the email, the referral email. So we're not talking about personalization from like an ordinary like email marketing perspective. We're talking about the fact that if you use your address book to select my record, and maybe 5 other friends so that you could get 5 discounts or whatever, then the software, the brand's website, not only has my email address, but they also have my full name because it's in your address book. Right. And so the email that their site, their WooCommerce site or their Shopify site should send me should say my name and your name, right? It should be like, Christian via store name should be in the from field, right? So that it shows up as a person that I recognize and not just some store that I've never heard of before, right? And then in the subject, it should either have my name or your name. Like, Jay, I think you're going to love this product, or Christian thinks you're going to love this product, or something that actually is personalizing that referral email with the data that's available in the address book, right?
Yeah, because if you just said, sorry. No, I was going to say, because if you just send an email that just has some random subject line from a random email address, people are just going to delete it,
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why a lot of referral programs aren't working as well as they could be working. Is because maybe everything else is perfect. Maybe everything on the whole experience on the site is really good, but the actual email that is being sent is terrible or totally unpersonalized, right? And it's just ending up in spam folders, or even if it's not ending up in a spam folder, we all get a lot of emails that are unsolicited all the time. And it just probably falls into that bucket a large percentage of the time.
Right.
And it's amazing what kind of difference you'll get in terms of like open rates and then also conversion rates on the email when you can put the sender's name and the recipient's name into the subject line and the from field, and you actually make it really well personalized, right? And you don't even need an address book to do all of that, because if you're logged into a store and they know your name already, because maybe you've made a purchase there before, and you're sending referrals to people, those referral emails that the store is sending should include your name in the from field. It should be Christian via store name rather than just the store name. And that one little thing will make a huge difference for any referral program that's already out there.
Absolutely. And then you're also you're giving away the ebook, which is the Ultimate Better Sharing Workbook. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's just a PDF file, maybe a few pages long. It's just got 3 sections in it, and it's basically for e-commerce store owners, and it just takes them through like an inventory and auditing process of their site, and specifically around the sharing features on their site, so that they can just evaluate and make sure that they've got everything. If they don't have something, they've consciously disqualified it and not just didn't know about that, right? It's a checklist of do you have wish lists? Do you have a newsletter referral program? Do you have a referral program, et cetera, et cetera? It's a list of all the sharing functionality that is like the exhaustive list, right?
Yeah.
And then it goes through, you can take each one of those ones that you've selected and audit it. Does it do this? Does it do that? How does it work? And gives you kind of like almost like a score for each of your sharing features. Like, do you have work to do, or are they already fully optimized, right? And then finally, it helps with some measurement criteria, and anybody that, wants to figure out how to iterate, how to decide if they should do more experiments. It's like a worksheet to help to figure out what are the metrics that you should be measuring for each of these features.
That's really cool. That's really cool. All right, Jay, listen, man, we're out of time. I'm so happy that you came on. I'm so happy we were able to figure out our technical difficulties when we started. Too. But is the app is available? I know for a fact it's available on WordPress. Is it available on Shopify already or not?
Yes. Yeah, we have a product. Our product is called Better Sharing, and that the product is for WooCommerce and Shopify.
Okay.
So anybody using those can just search for Better Sharing. The CloudSponge Contact Picker is also available for anybody who's got that purpose, and they don't want those extra add-ons. Mm-hmm. And that's, you just come and get both of those things from cloudsponge.com.
Right on. That is awesome. And Jay, where can people find you if they want to, look you up, I guess?
Cloudsponge.com is the easiest. We've got lots of contact us kind of stuff there. We all pride ourselves on getting on the calls and talking to people if they have help that they want.
That's awesome.
On Twitter, my username on Twitter is Circuit5. And I can give you a link for that for your show notes if anybody wants to.
Yeah, we'll put all the links in the description like every episode. So guys, thank you for listening, Jay. Thanks again for coming on. And guys, remember, hit that like button, subscribe, give a review for the podcast if you listen to the podcast side of things. And remember, get Better Sharing both on WooCommerce and Shopify. Check it out. And see you guys until the next episode. Jay, thanks again.
Thanks, Christian.